I wanted to make a brief video about my IUD insertion experience. I had the Paragard just about an hour ago, and so far, not bad at all. I'm not cramping right now. I'm bleeding just a little bit, but not anything too heavy. That's not anything scary. Um, Mainly, I wanted to just talk about what I did before I went in, and then talk a little bit about how the insertion experience really was. Um, I went to Whole Foods and I went to the women's health section and I got this female toner herbal tea. It's got raspberry leaf in it, which is supposed to be really good. Ginger, chamomile, spearmint, rose hip, and cramp bark, which I'm also taking these. This is called Una menstrual cramps, and it's the second formula, by the way. They have different formulas of this, and this one is particularly for cramping and heavy bleeding. It has cramp bark in it. I've read some things online about cramp bark being really good for uterine cramps, and so I took 4 of these before I went in, like an hour before I went in, and I took 4 200 milligram of ibuprofen. So I took a total of 800 milligrams of this stuff, and I had a cup of that tea. This is all about an hour before I went in, and I still had another hour that I waited there, so nothing wore off. When I went in, they use a speculum, of course. So if you've ever had a PAP, they use a speculum. That was probably the most uncomfortable part for me, personally. I hate it. And then they do a sounding, which all that means is that they're measuring to see how far in the IUD needs to go in. They measure your uterus to see if it's actually big enough for the IUD. And what they use, it's just a metal instrument. It's a big, long metal rod thingy. And when they do that, you'll cramp. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 2. The cramping wasn't bad. It was a few seconds. It was 3 seconds, I want to say. It really wasn't that long. By the time she asked me if I was okay, I was fine. After she did that, she let me know that she was going to go ahead and do the IUD insertion. That was a little bit longer just because she has to insert, make sure it's placed correctly, and then take the inserting tube back out. But 5-10 seconds, it really seems so short. I can't even remember how long it was. But the cramping was the same. I would say it was about a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and I think that the things that I got from Whole Foods probably did a lot. Cramp bark's just supposed to be like an anesthetic for your uterus. So I think that helped a lot. The ibuprofen, 800 milligrams, is what they would typically prescribe anyone. That's what the nurse told me to take, so I took that. And they say that it's supposed to be worse if you haven't had any kids. I've never been pregnant before. So, I mean, if that's as bad as it's supposed to hurt, I mean, it really didn't hurt at all. I've had worse cramps during my period, and I've had even worse cramps just from stomach aches. It wasn't bad at all. It's going to be 10 years of non-hormonal birth control, and I think it's so worth it. I was afraid at first because of all the reviews that I read online. You're different than anyone else. You're different than I am. I'm different than any of these other women that have had IUDs. But I know my body. I know I have a higher pain tolerance. I know, I know that I could do this. So I went ahead and got it done. It's worth it for me. And hopefully you feel the same way. Take this as, a good review. You read a lot of really bad things about IUDs on there, but it's highly effective, and hormones are not, you're not supposed to put hormones into your body. Um, you'll have a natural cycle, you'll feel natural, you won't have mood swings. Um, your body isn't going to be tricked into thinking that it's pregnant anymore, which just freaks me out. So glad I chose to do this. I'm so glad, and I'm really happy. And I'll make an update. Your period's supposed to be heavier, and you're supposed to have more cramping on your periods. So I'll make an update when I get my first period, and I'll let everyone know how that goes. So if you're thinking about doing it, um, be confident in your choice. Be ready. It's hard not knowing what to expect, because I didn't know what to expect when I went in there, but you never know. It might just go easier than you really expected it to be. I was expecting, like, I needed someone to drive me home, and then I was going to bleed my guts out. So, who knows? Yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Alright.